school after 7 years. She's majoring in digital design and carries a 3.7 GPA. She plans to complete her associate's degree here and transfer to the Evergreen State College. Her advisor describes her as dedicated and hardworking, carrying a full load while supporting her husband through his battle with cancer. Dani's recommender wrote, "Helping Dani with her education is a wise investment." So please join me in welcoming Dani Rochford.
I'd like to start off by saying thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege to have been awarded this scholarship. When my letter came, I was both elated and a little shocked. As a kid, especially in high school, I didn't care much for school. I definitely didn't think I'd ever be going to college, let alone being awarded a scholarship for my good grades. I was the kid who, slept through most of my classes, any of them that didn't interest me, which was most of them. My idea of planning for the future was what kind of mischief me and my friends could get into that weekend. And, so I skated through high school with C's and I graduated. From there, I worked many different jobs. I won't give myself that much credit. I've always had a good work ethic. Since I was 16, I've always had at least one, if not two jobs. At one of these jobs, I met my husband. We quickly fell in love and got married. And just as quickly, our happy, newlywed life came crashing down around us. A month and a few days after our wedding, he got sick and we took him to the ER. Turns out he had pneumonia. But while the chest x-ray revealed the pneumonia, it also revealed a mass growing in his chest. After a surgery to remove the tumor that required cracking his sternum, we were informed that it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. After 6 months of chemo, he was in remission. We thought we could pick up where we left off and start building our new life together. So we moved to a bigger house and started settling in. Well, about 6 months later, he went in for a follow-up CAT scan, and sure enough, the cancer was back. This time, they skipped the surgery and went straight into the chemo, but that wasn't going to cut it. The doctor signed him up for a tandem autologous stem cell transplant, which means using his own cells versus a donor's. They pretty much brought him to the brink of death by erasing his immune system with high-dose chemo and total body radiation. Then they revive him by transplanting his harvested cells, which have been cleaned. And then since it was a tandem transplant, they do all this twice. Once the process is complete, they wait to see if your body will reject them. Luckily, his didn't, which is why he's here and well today. However, during this time, he required a constant caregiver, which is where I came in. We had to move to a hospital supply department in Seattle during the course of his treatment to be close to the cancer center. This, of course, meant I had to take an extended leave of absence from work, which, as you can imagine, made a sizable impact on our bank account. Well, when you compiled the fact that I wasn't working and insurance and Medicaid only cover so much, when we finally reached the end of the cancer roller coaster, we were deep in debt. We ended up filing bankruptcy, so now here I was, 25, working a dead-end job, bankrupt, but at least my husband was well. You may be wondering what any of this has to do with receiving the scholarship. Well, everything really. At this point, I sat back and evaluated my life and decided it was time to make something of myself so that I could provide a comfortable life for my husband and I. I figured if he beat cancer twice, I could go back to school and get a degree to help me land a successful career that would not be just a job, but something I actually enjoyed doing. So I thought about what I wanted to do, what skills I already had, and this train of thought led me to decide to do something in the art field. Now, my husband was a little weary of this choice, worried that I wouldn't find a way to make any money, but he supported me nonetheless. When I started looking for schools, I chose Pierce, and honestly, there was really no rhyme or reason why I chose Pierce. It just gave me a good vibe, so I went with my gut. And I'm glad I did. By the end of the first quarter, I had been accepted into the TRIO program, where my advisor, Terry Green, told me about the digital design program. I thought it sounded interesting, and more importantly, it sounded like something my husband could get behind, because if anything, I could go into advertising, and well, we all know how much money there is to be had there. So I signed up. Now, here I am, almost at the end of my first year, and I love what I'm doing. I love my graphic design course so much, I'm often accused of being an overachiever. I've gone from my straight C average in high school to straight A's, and your scholarship helped me to make that possible. It allowed me to not only pay my tuition, but afford the tools and supplies I needed to be successful in my design program while paying bills and buying groceries at the same time. But aside from the monetary benefits of the scholarship, it also was an encouraging boost to my self-esteem. As far as school goes, it was like the proof I needed to show that I was right. I can do this. I can accomplish my goals of getting a degree followed by that rewarding career. It even boosted me up enough to allow me to push my goals a little further. And instead of just going for the 2-year degree and graduating with my design degree, I'm going to round out my degree and go to Evergreen and get a bachelor's in graphic design. As my esteem gets higher, so do my grades and my overall self-confidence. To quote a favorite song of mine, sometimes I feel like there's nothing that's stopping me. All things are possible, and I am unstoppable. And that is a great feeling to have. My success in school has also motivated my husband to go back to school. Although his goals are even loftier than mine, he is now studying to be a microbiologist so that he can someday contribute to finding the cure for cancer, or at least a less painful treatment than the one he went through. So thank you to the donors for your generosity, and to the committee for choosing me. Your decisions not only immensely benefited me and the other recipients in reaching our goals, but through a kind of domino effect has helped my husband to find his motivation to return to school and reach his goals, which, when accomplished, will help many others by way of his research. Just as I am sure that there have been and will be many others who will be benefited in a variety of ways by this domino effect through all the other recipients and future recipients. So on behalf of myself and everyone else, I sincerely thank you once again for being so generous. Thank you.